Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to Friday. A very warm Friday. It's been an incredibly warm week. Melty, in fact. This switch does not like the heat. But shouldn't complain. British, we always complain about the weather. Whether it's hot, cold or rainy, we don't care. We'll complain about it. Anyway, good morning. Welcome. If you are watching, as always, do please pop a hello in the comments. I will give it a couple of minutes because I know that the live streaming has been a little bit sluggish of late. Oh, I know how you feel, internet. I know how you feel. And then we'll see where today takes us. Good morning, Marit. Good morning. Good morning. It takes a few seconds for all the messages to come in. So if it looks like I'm staring at you blankly, that's because I am. And I know there's lots of you watching because I can see the numbers. Good morning. Rainy, warm day in Bedford. Okay, warm rain. No one wants warm rain, do they? Good morning, husband. Come on, coffee time. Good morning, Janet. It's even too warm for Eric. He likes sunbathing, but it's even too hot for him. He's been lasting outside for a few seconds before he comes back in. So you know it's warm. Yeah, summer. Garden's struggling a bit, but you know, there we go. Good morning, good morning, good morning, Leslie Ann. Good morning. Yes, welcome, welcome. Good morning, Xenia. Oh, on the big screen. Ooh, I love my blouse. Thank you. It's a frock. It's a bit of a dress. It's nice and cool and floaty, airy. Currently having breakfast and coffee. I've had my brown flakes. Waiting on my coffee. Good morning, Harmony. Good morning, Jalala. Good morning, Mandy. Good morning, good morning. Guten Morgen. Yeah, Pete's downstairs working hard. Hopefully on the coffee. And Eric is hiding from the sun. I don't blame him. Made it. Yes, welcome, welcome. Here we are on a Friday. So, this week's subject, an interesting one. The subject for this week was inspired by a post that I shared on my author Facebook page and in the Kitchen Witch Facebook group this week from the lovely Forest Witch. And it was a question. And the question basically said, if people come up to your house, what are the first couple of things that they see that will tell them that you're a witch? So can people tell that you're a witch from the outside of your house? Can they tell as soon as they step inside your house? That was kind of the question. And it prompted an awful lot of answers, and it was really interesting. And it kind of got me thinking about, do we shout about we're witches? Why do we put the stuff on the front of the house or in the house? Do we want people to know we're witches? Do we put the stuff there for purpose? And then it kind of led me to when you meet someone out and about that you don't know and you realize they're a witch. How do you realize they're a witch? So that's it. That's today's kind of subject. So answer the question if you would like to. Can people tell that a witch lives in your house from the outside? Or do they have to wait till they're inside? And what's the first thing they see? I was thinking about our house. It doesn't look like a witch's house at all from the outside. It looks like a seaside cafe, actually, from the outside. And then I realised there is a very small plaque, about this big, with the Kitchen Witch company name on it to help the postman. Oh, look, there's a surprise.
Yeah. Well, there was a distinct kind of nag. So I thought I'd better, up my game.
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Yeah, so that's the question for today. But no, there's nothing outwardly on the house other than the little plaque that tells the postman it's kitchen witch. If you open the front door in the little tiny porch we have, there is an upside down besom to keep out unwanted visitors, and there is a little tiny cinnamon besom to bring good luck and happiness into the house. But it's not overly witchy from the outset. So that's kind of the subject for today. Let's see where we've got to. Emma, third try at growing veg is going well, although the carrots are refusing to come out to see the world. They're hiding. Yes, too warm. They don't want to come out here. Jalala, so you're drinking coffee again? I am. Only one a day. One coffee a day. Because I've lowered my cholesterol, but my liver's struggling a bit, apparently. And coffee's apparently good for it. But only one a day. Oh, that's yummy. Okay. Good evening, Sephora. Forgot it was Friday for a moment. Yes, I had that moment yesterday. What day is it? Oh, yeah. Good morning, Hazel. Good morning, David. Coffee. Yes, I have my iced coffee. It's too hot for warm coffee. Good morning, Sue. Yes, Sephora, I am spoiled. Absolutely. Right, let's do some of these. Good morning, Susan. Right, Sue, I have a green man above my front door and a moon and a sun on the apex of my bungalow. Brilliant. Why do we put them there? Do you put them there for a purpose? Did you put them just there to, this isn't just to you, so it's to everyone. Do we put these things up just for decoration, or do they have a purpose? So I have got an upside down besom in my porch, and it's there to keep out unwanted visitors. So it's there for a purpose. Do we put these things out there for reasons is my question. Good question. Never deny I am if asked, but I'm rather disgruntled. But my partner will out us to anyone and proudly. Emma, they know I have an iron cast plaque which says beware of the witch. Oh, I like that. That's got quite a few giggles and laughs from people, and another one that says the witch is in, which people love. Emma, oh sorry, that one. Sephora, I have them there simply because I love them. Oh yeah, there's no right or wrong answer here. I'm just interested to know why we put that stuff out there. Before we had the house renovated, our kitchen was where it looked like a witch had thrown up in it. Basically, I had my big proper besom hanging on the wall in flight, as it were. I had all of the fabric felt kitchen witches hanging from the ceiling. There must have been 10 or 12 of them hanging from the ceiling. Not a good idea. They gather dust. They're very difficult dust. I had a green man shelf. Every wall had something witchy on it. I haven't added stuff like that back since we've had the renovation because it doesn't kind of lend itself to it now. But I did have all of that originally. Our house is a bit devoid, actually, of witchy stuff at the moment. Since the renovation, we haven't wanted to bang nails in the wall or anything because all the walls are lovely. Not up here. Although, outside, I've lost a shelf. It's been so warm in this little room that the sticky melted and the shelf fell off the wall. So that might need a bit. This room needs decorating. So, so I haven't really, I've got my altar set up downstairs, and obviously there's tons of stuff in this room, but outwardly you probably wouldn't know. And the other thing that kind of led me to today's subject is a couple of weeks ago we went shopping, which is quite rare because I don't like going out into the shops generally because it's too busy and I don't ever find anything I want. But anyway, we went into one store and we did buy a few bits, rituals, because Pete loves rituals. And one of the shop assistants, very nice, very pleasant, helped us do our stuff, had lots of tattoos. And I noticed some of the tattoos were element signs and there was witchy bits and pieces. So I actually made a comment. I actually said, loving your tattoos. They look like you've got the elements. And so we had a little conversation about it. And I thought, actually, I've done that a couple of times, not so much with tattoos, but when there's been someone in the shop that's wearing a pentacle, maybe. So I don't even wear a pentacle. A terrible witch, obviously. I don't have anything on the front of the house, and I don't wear anything generally. No, I do have a pentacle that I've had for a very long time, but don't tend to wear it very much anymore. But I've had it where I've been out, and I've sort of seen someone wearing the pentacle, and I don't know about you, but I say, oh, I like your pentacle. Just to kind of, and I did the same with this person's tattoos. Oh, just kind of that secret kind of, I know what you are. Do we put it out there kind of stuff? I mean, if you looked at me now, you would not know I was witch. I think at the beginning of my journey, I had Stevie Nicks' entire wardrobe, but those drapey sleeves, so impractical for eating and lighting candles. So I don't have an awful lot of what I would probably call witchy clothes anymore. And my other question, I don't know if anyone knows the answer to this or has any thoughts about it. When someone pictures a witch, they put them in black. Why are witches always depicted wearing black? That's my other question. So there are lots of things to think about today. Sephora, once I repaint the front door, it'll be obvious to those. We did have a purple front door before the house was done. We had a purple front door. Apparently witches have purple front doors. Jane, sorry I was late, was answering the very question on the Facebook page. Sage has gone berserk one side of the gate, lavender on the other. Rosemary nearer the door is out of control. When I open the door, whoever's there might see their reflection in a strategically placed blind spot mirror, so any negativity they carry is bounced back to them. Like that idea. We had 81 people knock last Halloween, so I guess that says something. Yeah, it's got to be it, isn't it? You've got it. Your witchiness, witchometer is how many people you have knocked the door on Halloween. So I put things on my outside wall because I like them, and it annoys the you-know-what other neighbours. Apparently Eric's annoyed about something. He's barking. Xenia, I said to a former boss he shouldn't visit my flat because it looks like a witch shop, a cold bookshop. Things have to be stored somewhere. I love to live with my witchy, occult, pagan and shamanic books and things because that's how I am. People would notice from the huge bookshelves in the hallway because they don't fit in my living room. There's also a gargoyle up there. Oh, I love gargoyles, but normally not seen by visitors. But I bet he sees everything. I have witchy things like broom, amulets, figures everywhere. Yeah, I think, I think a lot of us do. We like our things, don't we? We do like our things. Susan, dragon and green man outside by the front door makes me feel secure indoors. Lots of goddess things inside, so more pagan appearance until besom by the fireplace. Yep. Good morning, Lani. Xenia, glorious coffee, glorious barista. I think he opened a can, but it's still good. Good morning, Anne. Susan, and a cauldron. Yeah, I have a cauldron. I have cauldron in the kitchen. Yeah, that's a thought. Good morning, Kelly. David, I have quite a few witchy things around the house. There's marks on the back wall, magpie claw hanging from a window with feathers and bells, wreaths in the living room window. There's altars, if you know what to look for. Yeah, that's an interesting one, isn't it? Because not all altars look like witchy altars, do they? Lovely collection of witchcraft books laying around the place and living room shelf. I don't know, do witches always have lots of books? I think we might do. Good morning, Angela. Emma, indoors we have a family altar which had to be moved because people kept putting their coffee mugs on it. Oh no! And when we put their work tools on it, well, that's just rude. Totally oblivious to me being rich. Rude. Jalala, I have a witchy shed that is full of witchy stuff, and sometimes people do peep in the windows. There are crystals and bones outside on the windowsills. But the house is very ambiguous, really. Do have a vision in my mind of how I would like it to look, all bohemian and witchy, but I never seem to make it so. Yeah, I have these wonderful ideas in my head, but I'm not very good at translating them. I know what you mean. Harmony, I wear black for protection. Yep, that's my go-to colour for protection. Sue, black is very slimming if you're a goddess shape witch. I certainly am. Yeah, that Willendorf, Venus of Willendorf, that's my shape. Black's an interesting one. I did think about that. I used to wear a lot of black. I don't wear so much anymore. In fact, I very rarely wear it now that I'm a bit older. My skin tone has changed. My hair colour has changed. And black's quite draining on me. So I don't often wear it for purely cosmetic reasons. But it is a good protection colour, isn't it? But I wondered why in all the films and TV and Hollywood, and witches are always dressed in black. And I did wonder whether it was that old, boring yawn idea that black is a dark colour, therefore evil. So the wicked witch would wear black, and the good fairy godmother would wear white. I did wonder whether it was associated with that. I don't know. I don't know. Angela, my tattoo artist is a witch. Last part of my chest piece she's working on is going to be a protective rune. Nice. Yes, I have. My tattoo artist is a very spiritual lady. I have protective runes. You can't see it that way. I have protective runes built into. Yes, I suppose I do. I have pentacle tattooed as well, so that would be quite obvious. Yeah, I've got quite a few protective runes on my tattoos. Kelly, I wear a pentagram ring which I've had a long time, and I've had people give me the nod. That kind of subtle. No, you're a witch. My doormat says the witch is in, which is a bit more obvious. I like that. I do like that. We did have a green man doormat before the renovation. The renovation wiped away a lot of the witchy stuff, actually. I may have to readdress that. Janet, keep a besom on my front door. Yes. Upturned besom keeps unwanted visitors out. Good morning, Claire. Senia, I'm wearing witchy, pagan, heathen or new age jewelry because I'm a jewelry magpie. It's because I go with the energy of it. Sometimes put down and change jewelry during the day because somehow it doesn't feel right. I must admit I do dress for the occasion because I like to wear colour magic. So you will often find if I'm talking at an event, I will have a bright colour on because that gives me confidence. I like colour. The older I've got, the more colour that I wear. But I think you have to wear what you associate with it. So if confidence to me is colour, it might be that you feel more confident dressed in black. It's a very personal thing. I do often put, I've nearly always got my little pixie made boar on with my Larimar in it. I wear that all the time, along with my bracelet, actually. Another pixie made that's got my wild boar on it again. They are both very spiritual pieces for me. And that connects me with the energy of my wild boar. But if I am going to an event, I will quite often put another necklace on with a crystal in that. Might be for protection. It might be for confidence. It might be, or generally is, because it's got a magical property of some sort. Jewelry's brilliant for that. Lani, most of my witch pagan items are in the bedroom and near my windowsill, which is where my altar. People can definitely see it from the drive. Like, hello, witch at home. Angela, I hadn't been practicing for about a decade when I met my partner. Recently have come back to the path but not said anything. He's guessed from the amount of new witchy stuff around the house. Yeah, it's a bit of a giveaway, isn't it? I think it multiplies like altars. They multiply overnight when you're not looking. Jane, anyone who visits and goes to the loo upstairs can't fail to notice the bookshelf on the landing full of witchy books, and a glance into the purple room reveals all. I love that you've got a purple room. The door is propped open with my witchy leather journals, and there are cloaks and my hippie festival clothes hung up everywhere because the wardrobe's too titchy. There's usually a pong of incense pervading the place too. Yes, now we do have that in our house because although Pete isn't pagan, he loves incense. So our house quite often smells of incense. Actually, our office, because we both work from home, our home office is purple. I didn't choose the colour. Pete chose the colour, and it is a lilac-y purple and full of bookshelves. So yes, if you looked into our office, you would see half of it is vinyl, not vinyl albums, and the other half is witchy books. And my altar, main altar. Yeah, you have to come into our house to actually see it. Deborah, we need to publish a Witchy Homes magazine. Yes, bit of inspiration for everyone, definitely. Lani, I have a black bracelet with a crow on it that I wear all the time. Nice. Xenia, black looks super elegant and posh too. I love my black sheath dress. Oh, everyone should have that little black dress, definitely. Yeah, it's smart, isn't it? When I worked in the office and had to wear suits, a lot of my suits were black or dark colours. It's definitely got that classy kind of businessy thing to it, hasn't it? And I have a phoenix tattoo on my own just a few months ago. Oh, very nice. We like a bit of phoenix energy. Susan, I met a lady once who asked me if my stylized goddess pendant had any meaning for me. I answered cautiously that it did. She then announced she was a priestess of Avalon. Okay, brilliant. Yeah, we do kind of, I think we sort of draw each other in, don't we? I think, yeah, it's one of those things, isn't it? It's funny because P and I like garden centres, you may have noticed, because we love our gardening. But I forget that he's 6'3" with long hair, and I'm covered in tattoos. And people look at us, and I forget that we probably look a little bit out of place in a lot of the garden centres, because they are generally full of what our son calls crumblies. And I forget that I've got tattoos. So yeah, and then people stare and you think, oh yeah, that's what it is. I guess you couldn't not know what path I follow if you understand the symbols on my tattoos, because all of my tattoos are about my spiritual journey, except for my children's names. The rest of them are all about my spiritual journey. So you would if you know kind of thing. Just wondering, many different faiths and belief sets across the world have items of their beliefs in their home. To me, it seems natural for me to do the same. Does that make sense? Yes, it does. Absolutely. That's interesting, isn't it? Yeah, I hadn't thought about it like that. Yeah, a lot of homes will have shrines or crosses or images of things. Yeah, that makes sense. Hadn't thought about it like that. Angela, our house looks like the witch in the forest house inside now. I love it. Our possessions just enhance that. We are lucky enough to have an actual library room. It's very dark academia, naturally perfect, complete with fireplace. We have dragons everywhere and lots of herbal stuff and a few crystals. Yes, actually, I guess the bit we had renovated, the kitchenette, is all quite light and bright. The living room is quite dark. It's Sherlock Holmes's living room. It's his study. It's dark colours, and it's got that kind of vibe to it. Still not a lot of witchy stuff. There's a couple of bits in there, but it has got that darker kind of Victorian-y vibe to it. I think I need some more witchy stuff, obviously. David, my neighbour is a witch. She didn't tell me, but since she's my dog's groomer too, I was in her place chatting and noticed the hidden altar pentacle stone. My partner asking her outright because she has a pentagram in the van window. Yeah, you can't avoid it when you see things like that, can you? Kelly, can I ask what the connection of purple to the craft is? Not sure I've come across it before. A lot of spiritual folk seem to like purple, and I think for me, it is a spiritual color. Purple is a color that I use whenever I am working any magic for divine connection or psychic abilities. To me, it is that whole spiritual psychic energy color. I don't know. What do the others think? What do you associate with purple? It used to be a very regal color. The Romans emperors wore purple because it was very expensive color to make. So you had to have lots of money to afford it. So it used to be quite a royal color. But in the whole color magic world, it's often associated with spirituality and psychic abilities and that whole area. For me, anyway. Xenia, I'm also using crystal jewelry for certain purposes. Depends on the energy I need at that moment and how I feel drawn to it. Shunning hematite for long years, I couldn't wear it. I can't wear hematite. Can't get enough of hematite for a few months now. Okay, I can't wear it. It's too heavy for me. It makes me feel like I've got the weight of the whole world on my shoulders. But crystals are like people. Some you get on with, some you don't. That's the way it goes. Jane, our front and back garden seem to be a hub for all the local cats. They gather there and stare at each other, and sometimes a nasty old Tom comes in and picks a fight, but mostly they just sit there. They do try. They do walk along the wall at the bottom of their garden until Eric spots them, and then they get barked at a lot. Actually, we have a garden, obviously. I love gardening. It doesn't look like a witchy garden. And harvest all of the stuff. I use all of the plants in magical workings, but it doesn't have that Addams Family kind of vibe to it. I don't know what's a witch's garden supposed to look like. I think part of this is the preconceptions that people have. I do remember very long time ago going to one of the first pagan events that I ever went to, and fairly new to all, and one of the speakers was quite a well-known person within the pagan world, and they came on stage, and I was so disappointed because they were just wearing dungarees, and I wanted them to look like a witch. And you should look like Stevie Nicks on stage. I was really disappointed because I thought, you don't look like a witch. I expected you to look like a witch. I was young and naive. But I think that's a preconception thing, isn't it? That we think people should. We have this idea of what a witch should look like. We have this idea of what a witch's house should look like. We're all different. Right, one of those things. Lani, I got chatting to a lady that I met in Glastonbury. I only got back yesterday. Hope you had a fab time. And she was asking about my tattoos and their meanings. The tattoos are a bit of tattoos or T-shirts or jewelry with the pentagram on it or something obvious will always be a conversation starter, won't it? Angela, black covers so many things. Protection helps one fade into the background if necessary. Not what you want if you're speaking at a conference, no. But it's also made up of and representative of all colours. Yeah, I guess that's part of it, isn't it? It is quite a magical colour. It was just a thought that went through my head. David, that's what my partner totally believes. If everyone else can be religious and proud of it, so should she. Yeah, oh, absolutely. I think there are situations I haven't experienced it in the UK. I've been very lucky. I haven't experienced any negative response to it. I think you have to be a bit more careful if you are in a country or an area where witchcraft is not socially acceptable. The only reactions I have actually had are people laughing because they don't think it's real. They think it is the whole Disney idea. I've had to deal with that, but thankfully nothing horrible. Angela, I wear black at work, but less overtly goth. I'm not sure if it's association with Victorian mourning wear is linked to witches too. Oh, cool. Yeah, could be. The Victorians loved the occult stuff. They were everything. They were into everything occult, seances, ectoplasm, the whole lot. It was a big thing. I've been adding green to my wardrobe of late, not just my hair dye. I've had green hair. Accidentally, I had green hair once. Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? I think, I don't know where the black for witches came from, but it is interesting that it does seem to be quite a primary colour for in a witch's wardrobe. Susan, I have a reindeer tattoo with a waning moon, a surprising number of normal. More interesting word, isn't it? People admire it. Reindeers, beautiful creatures. Xenia, as for using jewelry to connect with an animal, started looking into the Peruvian medicine wheel. Teachings are somehow very popular in Germany. I like a medicine wheel. Medicine wheel's good, which is for animals which represent certain strengths. We do teach animal medicine wheel in the Kitchen Witch School. I already got 3 of them as brooches, which I carefully picked to wear on my black sheath dress to connect with the energy. Jewelry is really good for that, isn't it? Jewelry is very good for protection and confidence, and depending on what crystals you wear. Larimar is around my throat chakra, so very good for communication and getting your words across. I often wear a black tourmaline pendant if I need a bit of protection, if I'm out and about with lots of people. So jewelry is really good for protection, but it's really good for bringing all sorts of energies in, and including animal ones as well. Lani, for me, purple is spiritual and use it for meditation. Yes. Yeah, anything I think that is about connection to the other worlds or to divine. Absolutely. Yeah. Jalala, this is actually inspiring me to make my house more witchy. The house generally still looks like when we moved in. Takes me a long time to transition a new house into any kind of personal look. Probably unusual in that I think most people like to make a space their own as soon as possible. I don't know. I think it is, we're working with energy here, aren't we? The house has energy. And sometimes it takes a while to connect with that energy, to feel comfortable enough maybe to make it your own. Yeah, I am realising how unwitchy parts of my house are. Jane, I've still got my collection of Franciscan towel crosses and San Damiano. You're getting me to say lots of funky words. Crucifixes on the bedroom wall facing the big portal that runs through the front of the house. I wonder if they're working like a witch bottle to stop anything nasty coming in. Although I am no longer follow the Catholic faith, I don't want to lose my connection to St. Francis because he's the most pagan Catholic you could meet. There are crossovers, though, aren't there? I think in all cultures and all religions, there are crossovers. And it has to, I think they can be quite happily melded. It's got to work for you, hasn't it? Sephora, I think most people just assume aging hippies live at our house. Crystals and stones and plants and bells, lots of Buddhas and owls. The Buddhas are a funny thing, actually, aren't they? If you go into any of the home decor stores in the UK, I'm thinking places like the Range and that kind of thing, they have Buddhas. Garden centres have Buddhas. Actually, they have Easter Island heads, which we do keep eyeing up, quite like an Easter Island head in the garden. But every home decor store, every garden store will have green men as well, but they'll have Buddhas. It's quite a random thing, and people will put them in their houses even though they don't have any connection to it. It seems to be quite a fashion thing, the Buddha statues, for some reason. People looking for a bit of calm and peace, perhaps. Jalala, this witch's garden looks very natural. Woodland trees and lots of those so-called weeds, which are actually amazing plants full of gifts. Oh, absolutely. There are no weeds. Definitely not. Kelly, that's really interesting. Drawn to purple a lot when decorating my home, which I always see as my sacred space. There you go. Interesting. Yes, it is. It is for me a very spiritual colour. Xenia, for me, purple is a witchy and meditative colour. Yep, love everything purple. Clothes, crystals, lavender, thistles. Yeah, there's a whole range of stuff, isn't there? Angela, we've just started working on our garden this year. My non-pagan partner wants a green man for the wall. He's joined our Works Pagan group with me. We reel them in. We reel them in. Oh, I think green men as well. They are, like I say, garden centres have green men, and people have them in the garden, even if they're not spiritual. I think it works, doesn't it? But it's a nature connection, maybe. Have got quite a few green men in the garden, and a green lady, actually, and a wizard statue called Steve, because why not? So there are lots of hints in the garden. Emma, just realised I have 5 pentagrams or pentacles in one form or another in my living room. Can't help making them or buying some. They are perhaps the most obvious pagan symbol. I mean, it's an ancient symbol. The pentacle goes back thousands of years, and pretty much every culture has used it in some form or another. But it does these days does seem to be very much a pagan symbol. Good morning, Jane. I was sitting at a bus stop wearing my pentagram earrings, and an elderly chap next to me commented on my Star of David earrings. Yeah, not enough points. You can see, yeah, I can see how that would happen. Xenia, sometimes I look like a witch on purpose, sometimes I don't. Yes, yeah, I know what you mean. I also love to use it to find out who are my people and who aren't, the ones who are respectful and ask out of genuine interest, or the ones who make fun of me. It's funny, isn't it? Going back again to fairly near the beginning of my journey. I worked in an office, so I had to wear a suit. So I had my suit office clothes, didn't have tattoos then. So I had my office wardrobe, and then I had my going out partying wardrobe. Husband's in a rock band, so I had my rock band wardrobe. Then I had my witchy Stevie Nicks stuff, and there were so many different compartments in my wardrobe. I'm not sure that I was in any of them. I think I had all these separate wardrobes to suit different occasions with different people. I'm not sure my thoughts or taste or personality came into any of it. I think it's only as I've gotten older, perhaps I don't have to work in an office either these days, so that kind of comes out of it. But I think it's taken me a long time to find me and to be confident that I don't have to wear clothes to make other people happy, which is good, because I'm pretty sure if Pete dressed me, he would give me Amazonian warrior outfits that didn't have a lot to them. Looked like a hippo in a sack, but you know. I think it has taken me to this age to be comfortable wearing what I want to wear. I went to a pagan event recently in a bright pink dress with hearts on it, which is really not witchy at all, but it was me. So I think perhaps does confidence in yourself come into it as well. Just a random thought while I was sitting there. Kelly, work did some training on cultural diversity and religion. They asked me to write information on paganism. It was refreshing, but hard to sum it up with the variations and personal views. Paganism is such a huge umbrella, isn't it? Yeah, to reduce it down to a few words is not easy. Good morning, Peter. Good morning. Jane, I would imagine black is a good colour for witches to wear to be less visible when meeting in the dark out of doors. That could have been it, couldn't it? I know in the Terry Pratchett books, Granny Weatherwax always wears black because she finds it a very practical colour. Which, again, it is. Marilyn, I'm pagan Jew, so I have all my witchy bits all about lots of books and crystals. Witch bells on my door, along with my Jewish mezuzah, hopefully I pronounced that right, which is a traditional law that these are placed on entrances to buildings. Okay, definitely confuses people. I love it. I love that you bring those together. And for me, that is a huge part of what witchcraft is about. It is making that journey your own. But I guess it's also remembering that witchcraft is a magical practice, not necessarily a religion. Paganism is the religion. So I am a pagan witch. although I do see witchcraft as my whole kind of journey, but I love that you make it work together. I think that is brilliant. Good morning, Kerry. I wear a pentagram and a hagstone around my neck. Love a good hagstone. Xenia, I recently learned that Queen Victoria wore black and black onyx for years, mourning after Albert died, making onyx popular. By the way, I love Victorian occult aesthetic. Yes, I love the whole Victorian era. Yeah, the whole idea of it all. That's where my beloved Sherlock Holmes comes from, obviously, too. One of my favourite stories, characters. Love the books. Yes, Queen Victoria was in mourning for a long time, wasn't she? Because of her beloved Albert, bless. Xenia, yes, especially a black cloak with a hood to cover the head out in the woods at night. Yes, I have a black cloak with a hood. Yeah, maybe that's it, about being hidden, about not being obvious. Yeah. Lani, I had a purple and silver bedroom but felt like it needed a change after a while, so gone lighter, but have very light spiritual connections in my room. Nice colours. Good morning, Cos. Emma's miscounted 10 pentacles. Everyone's going around their houses now counting how many witchy stuff they've got. Zephora, just wish capes would come back in fashion. Love a good cape. I like the idea of capes. I love that whole Sherlock Holmes and the cape and the top hat. I love a good top hat. I have looking now. 1, 2, 3. 3 top hats and a bowler hat I have. I have several cloaks. They're a nice idea, not overly practical, particularly not in ritual. The amount of times that I've caught myself on trees or stepped on the end of it, or capes and bonfires or candle naked flames, not a good idea. But I know what you mean. They are very stylish. There is something very dramatic about a cape, isn't there? Xenia, my Jewish neighbour was pleased to see a large Hamsa hand fashion jewellery necklace hanging in my hallway. I think perhaps paganism does that as well, doesn't it? We do bring in things from other cultures as well, like that. Think of something else. The evil eye. I was writing about that yesterday, the Greek blue eyes that are there to protect against the evil eye. We do bring in the odd bit, don't we? Janet, down the block, I noticed a statue of Mother Gaia, but most would never notice. Also, an alteration shop that has a sun decoration on the back of it. I think there are things as well, aren't they? Like the sun and the moon. You can buy a lot of ornaments like that in garden centres again. I've got a couple of Roman goddess plaques from the garden centre that I have in the garden, which are brilliant. But a lot of people would just have them because they like the look of them, not because there's any meaning behind them. Xenia, I want pastel lavender walls in my bedroom. That's what we've got in our office. It's quite a nice, soothing colour. Jane, I knew some Jewish witches when I belonged to a belly dance troupe years ago. We used to swap spells. Yeah, I know a few Jewish witches. I know some Christian witches as well. I think it's fabulous when you can combine those traditions. Brilliant. Sue, I am a druid and misanthrope. Sad but true. Hey, own it. Leslie Ann, one of the joys of being retired on health grounds was being able to retire the work clothes. Yeah, I must admit, I am not sad to see the back of the suits. Definitely not. Emma, do you remember when we talked about colour magic? I got myself a beautiful, colourful dress. I ordered the right size only to discover too late there wasn't the right size. After all, they fibbed. Oh, they do that. I struggle with clothes. I want something a bit different. But I want it to be practical. Got to have pockets. Women's dresses don't have pockets generally, and it's really annoying. I have just made a dress that is bright red with cartoon lions and tigers on it. And I don't care. I love it. I've got some more fabric that's all wacky to make some more as well. Because you go into clothes shops now and in the high street and they are so boring. So, yeah, I want to bring colour. got to be colour for me. It makes me happier and confident. But again, it's got to work for you. Marilyn, there are lots of crossovers. So interesting. I think they are in lots of religions and cultures. You think about Roman Catholic and the crossovers with what we do in pagan rituals. So many similarities. And that, for me, goes across the globe. There are all different religions and cultures. There's a common thread usually running through all of them. It's fascinating. Good morning, Amanda. Good morning, Amanda. Jane, in my hall I have the Cambrian man, a decoy, protective crystals and candles. Hallways, isn't it? I think hallways are, I'm thinking, ever since the renovation, our hallway is devoid of witchy stuff as well. Oh no, there is a Ganesha statue. Yeah, there is little Ganapatis there. So yeah, that's it though. Yeah, I need to amp up my game. I've got to be making lists of things now. Hallways, they are entrances, aren't they? So they set the tone, I think, don't they? Do they set the energy for when you walk into a home? Because the hallway is generally where you walk in first, so it sets the vibe of the place, doesn't it? Sue, was dressed from a pattern? Yes, it was. I'm not that clever. My daughter can make patterns. She can get an idea in her head and she'll draw out all the pattern and make it. I'm not that clever. I have to follow a pattern. I'm doing it because I want the final result. I'm not doing it because I enjoy sewing, because I don't. Sephora. Largan look is a fantastic witchy look and has pockets. An awful lot of my wardrobe is Largan look style. An awful lot. Yes. And it's so comfortable. Thank you, Emma. Yeah, I was very pleased with my dress that I made. It was loud and bonkers and very comfortable and had pockets. So, you know. Angela, I have a waxed cape I got for LARP. Only worn it for watching outdoor theatre Hobbit performance. Oh, Ben, that was amazing. Love the Hobbit. Then wondered why people were staring when I walked back to the car. No, surely you have to wear a cloak when you go to see anything Lord of the Rings. Isn't that not the law? You have to wear a cloak. Kelly, as a therapist, I try to tone down, but I look at how I look, but more so that it doesn't distract from the client. That's understandable. They don't feel uncomfortable, but I still try to look like me. It's a balance. Yes, absolutely. Oh, yeah, and that's like me going to work in a suit. I had to be smart and presentable, so I wore a suit, even though I hated it. Dress sounds fab. Love wearing colours. I do. I like colour. Colour makes me happy. Jane, this has got me reminiscing about an episode of New Tricks. I know exactly where you're going with this one. Brilliant TV series. Jack was spooked by a green man plaque. Yes, the picture of the wonky tree. Bit weird that a seasoned detective had to look them up to understand them. There are a few things, aren't there? New Tricks and Midsummer Murders that have the odd episode in about witches or pagans or druids. Or I do remember that. That's a very good TV series. Lani, since I've been back to myself after being off poorly for 4 months, I have a new connection to my garden. I've really looked at it in a new light with regards to connection to nature and healing. Nature is an absolutely brilliant healer. Absolutely brilliant. Xenia, hear you. As for boring clothes nowadays in shops, I discovered vintage stores. Oh, I love a good charity shop. Although they have started to put their prices up. And in some cases, on the cheaper brands, you might as well buy it new from the shop. Charity shops need to be mindful. I'm not going to spend the same amount I would in a shop buying a brand new item, paying for a secondhand one. So just, yeah. But thrift shops, charity shops, always good. Jane, my favourite witchy dress is black with white stars and to my... Oh, it has pockets. Perfect. That sounds amazing. I like the idea of that. Angela, we don't have a hallway. You step straight into our library. Oh, that's just perfect. Sometimes I think I miss having a hallway. I've nowhere to put soggy coats and boots in the winter. Practical, yes. But I love the idea of stepping straight into a library. Who doesn't love a library? Emma, I think hallways can be the portal to other rooms in the house. Oh, we're talking liminal spaces now, aren't we? We are talking liminal spaces again. So having stuff in the hallway guides you to what kind of portal you're entering before you enter other rooms. Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Sue, I have been wearing capes since I was 18, some 50 years ago. Got laughed at, but I don't care. Take me as I am or not at all. Oh, yeah. All power to you, Sue. All power to you. Absolutely. My daughter loves that I'm bonkers, I think, when we go out. She has similar tastes to me. My teenage son is less impressed with my outfit choices. We went to visit the university that he wants to go to a couple of weeks ago, and I had to have my outfit vetted before I went out with him. Apparently it was all right, though. Black skirt and a red dwarf t-shirt. Apparently that was okay. Amanda, I've bought a couple of Popsy dresses. Oh, I've seen those. They have pockets, lots of different prints. Have a phoenix one and a magical moth. Has moons and all sorts of magical things on it. I have seen those. They are fabulous. The only problem I have with a lot of stuff that I like is that I'm really cheap. I don't like spending lots of money on outfits, which is why I buy from charity shops a lot. I do only buy generally in sales. To me, if I have to pay more than £20 for a dress, then I'm not buying it. The outfit that I made, I managed to get the fabric in the sale, and the fabric came to £13, so I think that's pretty good for a dress. But yes, there are some really nice, more individual type dress shops, clothing shops online, but they do tend to be a bit more pricey, and I understand that. I do understand that. You do get what you pay for a lot of the time. Marilyn, my wonder is my mum and her sisters were witches, is thinking back to their old Jewish customs pop up in my path. They would pin a small Star of David to baby's vest with a red ribbon and the threefold law. I think there is in most religions that folklore, folk magic is woven right the way throughout, particularly for our grandmothers and great grandmothers and that sort of era. Yeah, absolutely. Kerry, I'm dressed like a rainbow mostly. You go for it. Jane, when trick-or-treat kids compliment me on my Halloween costume, I tell them it's the only day of the year I don't have to disguise myself as a muggle. Yeah, there is that. Oh, Sephora, I am totally jealous. My son wants to go to New Zealand just to see Hobbiton. Yeah, perfect. And here is our purple queen. Look. Good morning, Eve. My colours in clothes are just purple and black. I don't feel happy in colours like yellow, green or red. I do own a blue maxi though. Don't believe it. I have known Eve for a very long time and I've never seen you in anything other than purple. And it's brilliant. It's brilliant. Eve has the most wonderfully decorated house too, which is a lot of purple. It's got to make you happy, hasn't it? It's got to make you happy. It's got to make you feel comfortable. Kids are great. Yeah, I'm not sure about that, but no, you can never argue with a Red Dwarf t-shirt. My Red Dwarf t-shirt says everybody's dead, Dave. I love it. Janet, tend to lean towards shawls more than capes. I think that's another thing, isn't it? Kids' shoes are fantastic. Children's shoes are amazing. They are colourful. They are sparkly. They are covered in bows and hearts. And why aren't adult shoes like that? I want adult shoes like that. I don't want sensible shoes. I want comfortable shoes. Too many years in the 80s wearing stilettos and pointy toes. I want comfortable shoes, but I want funky, comfortable shoes. So I want children's shoes, but in adult sizes. There's definitely a gap in the market for that. Emma's still counting pentacles. 12. Do we have any advance on 12? Anyone got more than 12 pentacles in your house? Yeah, every room in Eve's house is purple and grey. I love it. I love it. Sephora made the mistake of getting a white cat hair on everything dark. This is why I have a black dog. You don't see the hairs on things. I think it's interesting though, and I think it's interesting that I mean, obviously I'm out there. I have put my head above the parapet. You can't fall over me and not know that I'm a witch. But it was interesting this week to think about, particularly since the renovation, where we haven't necessarily put a lot of stuff back up. You wouldn't know from the front of my house that was a witch. You wouldn't even know from the hallway that I was a witch. There's subtle things after that, but other than in the office. And then when you were out and about, but then I forget I have my tattoos. So when I met this lovely shop assistant the other day and remarked about their tattoos, I obviously had all my tattoos as well. I mean, I had a flowery, floaty dress on, but all of my tattoos were visible. So if you recognize the symbols in the tattoos, you would have known I walked the same pathway. I don't necessarily shout about it these days. Used to. I don't necessarily visibly go, oh, I'm a witch. I don't know why. I am very proud of it. I'm very proud of who I am and what I do. So yes, Jalala, kids get better croc choices than adults. Let's not even get into Crocs. My children had Crocs when they were little to wear on the beach. Yes, now Jane, Skechers, please start producing witchy shoes. Yes, that would be good. Now, yes, a regular choice have some amazing shoes, and I love them. But a regular choice, every pair of your shoes that I've tried on are the most uncomfortable shoes I have ever worn. And each time we go to Brighton, I try on different ones. And each time I'm really disappointed about how uncomfortable they are. But they are amazing shoes to look at. Sephora, can you dye a cat purple? Well, you probably could, but this probably shouldn't. Now I have seen those. Angela, chocolate shoes do fun patterns in comfy flats like children's shoes. I so want a pair, but I'm like you with the expense. Yes. I did buy a pair of the chocolate shoes in their sale. Unfortunately, they didn't fit very well. But they do some amazing ones as well. Kerry, can't count them all, but I know I have 9 pentagrams in my bedroom. We're having a counting pentagrams competition. Pentagrams, pentacles. Xenia, still remember the times when cute socks were cool and funny designs only came in kids and men's sizes, whereas women's socks were boring. Only some pastels with pale flowers or so. Now we get the cool socks in all sizes. You can get some really funky socks. Can also be used for magic or to connect with power animals. Absolutely. And Jane, being our sock queen, you can make your own socks too. They do come in all sorts of shapes, sizes, colours, patterns now, don't they? Sock magic. Yeah, I like that idea. Jalala, found some great shoes and clothes on eBay, pre-loved. eBay's good, Vinted's good. Yeah, if you can get the pre-loved stuff, then you're doing yourself a favour, your pocket a favour, and the environment for sure. Oh, Sephora, glue gun your own shoe decorations. Yeah, I like that idea. Definitely. Yeah, Vinted's very good for second-hand clothes and shoes. Absolutely. Xenia, Skechers are the best. Witchy Skechers. I like that. We'll have to put in a request to them. We'll do a petition or something. Because we've got to be comfortable as well. So, interesting chat. If you do feel drawn to answer the question, what makes your house look witchy? There is a thread on my author Facebook page, and there's a thread on the Kitchen Witch Facebook group as well, if you want to put your thoughts and your comments. I think it's interesting. I think I'm definitely going to have to go and have a look around the house now and see what improvements I can make. This has got to be sorted out because, it's melting. But this is the most witchy. Actually, it's halves this room. One half is witchy stuff. The other half you can't see, but the half I'm looking at is Pete's electronic drum kit, James Bond pictures, and a big frame with one of Pete's albums, and some of his gig photos in. So we're half and half in this room. Yeah, house needs witching up, definitely. So brilliant. Thank you for joining me, as always. We've got tons of stuff going on. Check out my website on the events page and the Kitchen Witch webpage as well. We've got the online shop, lots of books and witchy bits and pieces. And of course, if anybody would like a reading with myself and the girls, unique triad reading, that's available on the shop as well. Sock magic. Yeah, we're all going to do sock magic now. Yeah, interesting chat today. So thank you. A lot of home decorating going on now, I think. Have a fantastic week, everyone. And I will catch you all again next week. Take care, everyone.